Imagine a world where doctors help you get healthy and not just respond to your sickness. A world where experts empower you to feel good and bring peace, joy, and love to yourself and the world. An integrative approach to health. Dr. Arlene Dijamco is on a mission to wake medicine up and raise the bar of health with her show, The MultiDimensional MD. Call 678-495-4345 to talk to her live on air, or put your comments on Facebook Live at UI Media Network with your questions, concerns, suggestions, or just to say hello. Don't forget to like and share and spread the message as she helps activate the natural healing force within all of us. Let's join Dr. Arlene Dijamco in bringing spirit back to medicine on the MultiDimensional MD.
Hi, welcome to the MultiDimensional MD, Waking Up Medicine. This is Dr. Arlene Dijamco, your host, and I am so excited for this episode 6, the third episode I've done during the quarantine time, and with my incredible guest, Kate Parker. She's a photographer, she's an author, and you may be wondering what this has to do with health, but it has so much to do because it's really that inner light of being yourself and being confident, being joyful, and we're going to explore that and see what that has to do with health, because it's really the inside, how you feel on the inside, that affects your outer world. It's not the reverse, not the outside in. It's from the inside out. And it affects our physiology, it affects our health, it affects the way we breathe, and it affects how our immune system functions. So let me introduce to you Kate Parker. Again, she's a mother, she's a wife, an Ironman professional photographer, and New York Times bestselling author who shoots both personal projects and commercial work for her clients. Her Strong is the New Pretty photo series led to collaborations with brands such as Disney, Athleta, Kellogg's, and NBC. It has also inspired Kate to launch a philanthropic arm of Strong is the New Pretty, partnering with organizations such as Girls on the Run, Girl Up, the Arthur Blank Family Foundation, Disney, Glam for Good, and the Bully Project by investing in children's health and education. Strong is the New Pretty was also adapted for a book with Workman Publishing and became a national bestseller, as well as selling overseas. She's also the author of Strong is the New Pretty, The Guided Journal, The Heart of a Boy, and the forthcoming Play Like a Girl. So, Kate, you have created a movement here. It has really just taken off over the last few years. And how did this all start? How did Strong is the New Pretty get started?
So it started just very, very, very small. It started me as a mom. I have two daughters who are now 14 and 11. And it started with me just taking pictures of them. And my girls are athletic, and they are emotional, and they are oftentimes like their hair is not brushed, and they didn't want to change their outfit or put on like something special for a photo. And so I was just shooting them as they are. And I didn't want them to change. I didn't want them to like sort of lose that sense that they thought that they could do anything or be anything, or that what they looked like mattered more than who they were. So the project started really small, just with shooting my girls and their friends, probably about 10 years ago.
And we have the cover photo from the book with Ella's first triathlon. And yes. I love that. And what was going on? Like, what was going through her mind when you took this photo? And we can show that up on the screen for everyone to see.
Yeah, so it's funny. I took it, like, I'm in my studio right now. I took it right down there. And Ella was doing her first triathlon. She was totally prepared, totally ready. But the race, sort of where you go to get your race, and you get your stickers, and you get your, stickers for your bike and your race number. She left there feeling so intimidated. It felt like she couldn't do it. Felt like everybody else was more prepared than her. And she was only 9 at the time. So I came home and I told her, I go put your bathing suit on, go put your race number on, put your swim cap on, and come downstairs, meet me in the studio. And I took I took 3 shots of her. It was not for a book cover. It was for nothing other than to flip the camera around and show her And because I said, give me a look that I said, give me your toughest, most fierce look. And I flipped it around and I was like, don't you think that girl could do a triathlon? And she was like, yeah, okay. And then all she needed was to see herself as capable. And it's funny because I generally don't shoot like that. I generally don't say, pretend to be something you're not. But in that case, she needed to see herself as a triathlete. And she went out the next day and she killed it.
That's so powerful. Just like being able to look at an image of yourself. I mean, I feel like adults could really benefit from that too. Just being able to tap into their inner strength, that power from within them to give them the confidence to go forth and do projects. Why kids?
I love kids. I mean, I love it. It's funny. Kids and dogs. They say don't shoot kids and dogs. And obviously I have my dogs here right next to me right now. The kids are my favorite things and people and things to shoot because they are not self-conscious. They're generally like want to show off to you. They want you to take their picture. Or they're doing something that they don't care that you're taking their picture. Like adults are, oh, this is my best side, or this is my best side, or let me see. I want to see, do I look okay? Do I look fat? And kids do not do that, which I love because I really crave shooting authentic images and images that feel as much like real life as possible.
And the adults spend so much time trying to get back to that confidence of the youth and just being yourself and not being afraid and being able to dive into new things just like that.
100%. Yeah. It's funny. One of my images, it's this image where my youngest daughter is screaming at the camera and she's in a bathing suit and she's in a sprinkler and we
have that image actually. Oh, yeah. We can put that up there.
Yeah. So that was stolen, I don't even know, like 5 years ago. And somebody put as like the, they made it sort of a meme and it says, remember her, like go back and get her, that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, it's kind of annoying that they stole my image, but I just love the message so much. Cause that's really, I was like, yeah, that's what these are about. Trying to remind us as adults, especially as adult women, that remember when you thought you could do anything, like it's still in you. So just go back and get that.
That's one of my favorite ones. Just her being completely drenched in a saggy bathing suit and loving it. Yeah. Because I'm just imagining adults like going out in a sagging bathing suit that's wet and dripping and being like, yeah, this is me.
But we'll have to recreate it with her in like 10 years.
Before and after, it's going to be the same girl. She's going to still have it. I know it. Why do you think that we need this movement?
Well, I mean, I think especially now when the things that my kids were seeing, 99% of what my daughters were seeing on social media, magazines, television is like filtered, is photoshopped, is altered, is face-tuned, is photoshopped, is plastic surgery in some way. So the ideal that they are seeing is not even attainable. It's not real. And what I wanted to do is put out there was images of girls and women doing things as opposed to looking a certain way. So I wanted to sort of, as much as I could, to chip away at that 99% of what they saw was not real or attainable, with images that show girls doing things and being themselves and being proud of that.
That's amazing. I actually wrote down that quote from you. I want these images to combat negative voices that tell us we're not good enough because we are far more than enough. I wanted these girls to be able to hear their own voices through these images and to inspire them. Wow. Yes, you said this. And to inspire them to use them and to continue to use them loudly. Yes.
That sounds, that I feel I'm impressed with myself. I love that quote.
Yeah. And I was like, being able to speak loudly. And I go back and forth between like the kids. And then, when I see these images, you also feel it in yourself. I have like 4 girls too, but, and I feel it for them. And then I also feel it for myself. And even like coming out here in front of the cameras, this is not a natural thing for me to do, but just showing up and being able to speak and use our voices loudly to create change that we want to see in the world.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the thing I always try to tell, especially women, like if you are passionate about something, do not give up on it. Do not let the first no be the final no. If you believe in something, I guarantee you other people will be passionate and want to hear about it or see it or read it or buy it. I think that we're so accustomed to trying not to be pushy and trying not to be loud or aggressive that sometimes the things that are most important to us get lost. And so I think it's super important to just like stick with your gut and trust it.
So when your kids, when they see these other pictures, like in the media, not your pictures, but what you're saying, like maybe showing images that are difficult to attain, what are their reactions to that?
It's funny because they'll look at them and I'm constantly over their shoulder as sort of like I'm trying to give this mini class about what is fake in the image. Like for example, if they're looking at like a picture of Kim Kardashian, I'm like, that's photoshopped. That's not her real, that's not her butt. Those are not her boobs. That's not, all of these things. I tried to sort of educate about what isn't real. So they can kind of look at media with a critical eye and not let it just sort of like wash over them passively, but they are become like that they can learn to be critical of what they are seeing. So that it doesn't feel like I have to measure up to this level of perfection that is not that nobody could.
I remember my girls when they looked at some images of beautiful models, just must be like clothing catalog or something. But they asked me, they're like, "Mommy, why does everyone look sad?"
Oh gosh, it's so funny. Yeah, like yes, it doesn't. Yeah, models they're not smiling a lot of the time. Yeah.
Hopefully that will start to change.
They're hungry.
But it was like I was so used to seeing those images that I didn't even think about like what their expression or anything. So when little kids come and ask you that, I mean, they're telling the truth. So it kind of makes you step back and pause and what are we doing? Why are we, taking those kinds of pictures and sending that out and saying like, hey, look like this, be like this.
Yeah. Yeah. So, to be like beautiful, you have to be like angry or sad or I don't know. I don't understand it. But yeah, it's good to like, that's the good thing is to question it, to look at it with fresh eyes and sort of examine what is it saying?
What was it like for you growing up?
So I grew up, I was the youngest of 4 kids. So really I had 2 older brothers and older sister. Grew up with a huge passion of soccer. My 2 older brothers both played in college. That's all I really wanted to do was play soccer, be like them. I was the word now is sort of like frowned upon, but it's like a perfect description. I was a huge tomboy. I love sports, didn't care what I looked like that much. I cut my hair like my brothers in a bowl cut, which was not the most attractive
I love
look.
that.
Yeah.
And that's the cut that my parents gave me, and I cried about it.
Yes. I mean,
it was your chosen cut, but it was great. Oh, yeah. Your parents let you, and this is what you wanted.
Yes. I mean, I am so thankful to them for not saying, no, girls have long hair or, because I had really, really long hair. And I was like, it was annoying. It was, it hurt to brush and it was always knotted and it would get in my way when I played soccer. So when I was in 2nd grade, I was like, no, I want it like David's, my brother, and did not look great, but there was no premium placed on how I looked, which I think was huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when did you finally grow your hair out again?
Oh my gosh, it was the only time I did that. I actually realized that long hair is a little easier, for like, especially now, like this is not normal for me. I normally have it in a bun or a ponytail. So it's just easier. Yeah. And I've had short hair in my adult life, but long hair is just easier, especially because I still play soccer and I work out. I run a lot. So like just having it like that is a lot easier.
Oh my gosh, I love this. We're going to take a quick break here and we're going to be right back. You're watching the MultiDimensional MD. This is your host, Dr. Arlene Dijamco, and my incredible guest, Kate Parker. We'll be right back with that. But first, I want to give a shout out to our friends at WDJY 99.1 FM and WTTA 101.2 FM in Kentucky and Ohio. Thank you for listening. Do you have a burning question for Kate Parker? You can ask her live on the show by calling us at 678-495-4345. Again, you're watching the MultiDimensional MD Waking Up Medicine. We'll be right back with photographer, author Kate Parker to dive deeper into what true strength and beauty are all about.
This is Kurt Arsenault of Arsenault Advisory Group. Do you make a six-figure income but live paycheck to paycheck? You're not alone. Many six-figure income households will buy too much home and too much car, creating tremendous financial stress that builds debt when you should be building wealth. If you make six figures and live paycheck to paycheck, visit arsenaultadvisory.com and download our free ebook titled, I Make Six Figures and Live Paycheck to Paycheck. You have nothing to lose and potentially everything to gain. Visit arsenaultadvisory.com today.
Welcome back to the MultiDimensional MD. I'm here, Dr. Arlene Dijamco, with our guest, Kate Parker, photographer, author, whose books have gone around the world. And we wanted to dive deeper into what strength is, what beauty is. So what is that for you?
So strength and beauty for me it's like this perfect sort of like meeting of when you find the things that you love to do, that you're passionate about, and that you get to do those things. Like you get to do those things like authentically without worry about what other people think of them. And without like sort of a real like focus on outcome, more about like that flow.
Mm-hmm.
And at least that's personal to me. Like I wouldn't say that's strength and beauty for everyone, but for me, I feel the strongest and most myself when I'm creating things for the joy of just creating them.
I have this great photo, another one of my favorites, of Taylor being wild and crazy.
Yeah, she lives across the street. Taylor is,
oh my gosh, yeah. Yes. What was she doing in the photo? I mean, I know she's completely being herself.
Yeah, jumping on a trampoline, acting like a crazy lady, which she still does every day.
And you completely captured that in the photo.
Yes. She asked me the other, like before all this started, she was like, Miss Kate, can you recreate this picture? Because I think she was like 6 in that one, and now she's almost 12. So I was like, yes, we have to recreate it. And she's still the same. It's funny how like you don't lose that sort of who you are.
Mm-hmm. That spark that keeps going. Mm-hmm. This is another one of my favorite quotes that you said. I wanted my girls to know that being themselves is beautiful, and that being beautiful is about being strong.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens? Yeah. Kids do that so naturally. What happens along the way?
I mean, I think it's really hard. It's so easy to lose that because other kids and the things that they read and the things they watch and the things that they see on their phones, all those things sort of chip away at that sense that they are okay and that they're beautiful just as they are. So, I mean, the only thing that you can do is, as a parent, is to just continually be that support system and build them up and encourage them to find their self-worth through the things that they do, as opposed to like what they look like, and just even catching yourself in the way that you talk about other women or other kids, just praising them on what they're doing as opposed to what they look like. And it's constant sort of like trying to sort of deprogram all the stuff that is sort of coming at them all the time.
Mm-hmm. And what I feel like your images are doing is to start to help normalize that conversation of what true strength and what true beauty actually are, because we're bombarded in society and media with images of what other people think it should be for us. And so, being able to talk about it and being able to show it is a huge step in terms of like just letting kids like keep that kind of confidence, that natural confidence that they're born with. And it's something that I'm trying to do also in the world of medicine. And that's why the name of the show, MultiDimensional MD, Waking Up Medicine, is I also want to normalize the conversation of what true health is. And so part of that true beauty, true strength, to me is also true health, because it always comes from the inside. We can we can do as many medications, supplements, or take things from the outside as we want. But until we really take a look and address our inside of how we feel about ourselves and whether we're being authentic and living the life that we want, being ourselves 100%, we never really attain the kind of health that we want to have.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, it's like this holistic and whole body thing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's all connected.
I saw, I was watching some stories of people, even like with this COVID-19 stuff going on, with one kid that had coronavirus and was having some trouble breathing, and the oxygen saturation would go down. But it would be better when they were just acting like themselves and weren't getting stressed by what the parents were thinking or trying to do something. And so when they were feeling more relaxed, which is really like feeling more like yourself, it would go up, which is amazing.
Crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's such a good thing to note too.
Yeah. So what your movement is, to me, a part of a movement in health as well, because I don't feel like we spend enough time talking about this with physicians or when people go to the doctor. Yes, we check through all the physical stuff, but sometimes we don't spend quite as much time on the mental, emotional. It'll be sort of like as an afterthought. Oh, how's that going? And then kind of check the box like, okay, great. Well, everything's good. But sometimes you need to spend a few more moments and just to be able to flush it out and see what that's all about. And so you've been working with the media for a couple decades now. So how do you feel the images about like surrounding body image have changed, or has it shifted, evolved at all?
I mean, I think it is starting to change because it's, just even looking at like if I went online the other day to like look for Athleta, the clothing brand Athleta, and like some of the models are not, they're not stick thin. It's like sort of like popped in every here and there, like a healthy, not overweight, but not a modelly model body. And it's so nice to see like how clothing looks on a regular body. And I think that conversation certainly has shifted to trying to find representation in the media and in advertising, and which I think is great. And I think it's just a long way to overcome.
Sure.
I don't, and it's just like interesting. From when I was younger, when we were younger, there was no sort of role model like J-Lo with a curvier body, or like Kim Kardashian, which, I mean, for the negatives that she has, her body is definitely not a model body. Like, she is curvier. And the fact that we can start accepting different body shapes as ideals or beautiful is nice to see. It's nice to see it's opened up a little bit than just like a stick thin sort of boyish figure. Cause like, what percentage of the world has that, And that's just, I think, trying to open up what we see in the media, and the more that there's representation in what body, like the colors they are, the shapes they are, the sizes they are. I think the more we do that, the more girls will see themselves in the images and feel representation and feel like they're seen.
And then as they grow up and go through adolescence and puberty and their body changes, then they don't feel that pressure to maintain something that's really unnatural, just to have like that straight, stick thin figure. It's great that it's starting to get celebrated, all types, and there's that beauty within everyone, and to bring that out.
Definitely.
And also you have your book, The Heart of a Boy. So this is really neat, just like bringing that conversation. So we're talking about like what girls are like to be strong, and it's not about a certain kind of body image, and strength means so much more than that, and beauty means so much more than that. And then we bring in Heart of the Boy, and to be able to talk about, well, boys can be strong in other ways too. They can have strong hearts, and what is that? What is that all about?
So the book actually, so that's my nephew on the cover, which I love. Yes.
He's adorable.
Thank you. Yeah, he's a cutie. And so it's funny. My publisher came to me and asked me, would I be interested in doing a book about boys, like Strong as They're Pretty, but about boys? And I was like, no, we don't. No, the boys do not need this book. I don't have boys. I think they're fine. They do not need my voice to help make them like. I thought their voices were heard. I thought they were fine. And then I just agreed to do like a few test shoots just to be like, okay, I checked it out. We don't need to do this. Cause I can't, if I'm doing a project, like a long form project, like a book, I can't fake it. I can't pretend to believe in the message and shoot it and spend 2 years invested in it. So I was like, okay, I'll try this out. And then I'm going to come and tell you, we don't need to do this. And like the first couple shoots I did that were just tests, I was like immediately floored by the variety and the depth of feeling and the vulnerability that the boys were willing to share with me. And that the fact that they felt the same thing that girls feel about the expectations that they are sort of held up to, that, you know, be a man, boys don't cry, those kind of things. It's sort of them. And I realized once I finished Heart of a Boy and Strong as They're Pretty, that the message for both of the books, while the focus is different for Strong as They're Pretty, it's more about strength and allowing girls to find and use their strength and use their voices. And for boys, it's more about allowing them to be vulnerable and to find their voices, but maybe in a different way. But the message is exactly the same thing, that we just need to celebrate and love our kids for who they are. And I was kind of blind to the fact that boys needed this message just as much as our girls did. So I'm really glad and thankful that I had the opportunity.
That's great. That kind of reminds me of like, well, within the body, we have our left, right sides, and it represents like feminine, masculine. And to actually feel whole and balanced and healthy, we need both sides to be integrated, and we need both sides of the brain to be integrated, to feel calm, to feel focused, to feel confident, to have energy, and for our body to function well. And so this is what I'm hearing with like Strong as the New Pretty. It's like representing like these different sides, but they need to, but what it's doing, not actually representing each side, it's like integrating them so they are together, like right and left sides are together, masculine and feminine are together. And it's more about that oneness, the human aspect of living, of life, and just being yourself. And for boys to be able to be vulnerable and to be open to emotion, as well as it's not just about physical strength or of taking care of like finances or things like that.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's like that the roles don't have to be what they were defined as hundreds of years ago, you know, that it can be open to whatever works best for you.
Yes, thank goodness.
Yes, thank God. Yeah.
Because it gives us both genders so much more freedom. Yeah. And I think that, I don't know, do you feel like it's a mainstream conversation yet?
No, you know what's so interesting is Strong as They're Pretty. I've gotten so many jobs and so many advertising jobs that are like, we really love Strong as They're Pretty. We want to do something like Strong as They're Pretty, but can you do it for our whatever their brand is? And I've gotten, I know, hundreds of those. I've literally gotten 0 for Heart of a Boy.
Wow.
No one is. Yeah, I just think that we're much farther along in the conversation about girls than we are for boys. So it's really interesting.
That is interesting, like that resistance there. Well, we're going to continue this conversation in just a little bit. We're going to take a quick sponsor break here. And are you looking for an opportunity to work for a conscious media network? UI Media Network is looking for like-minded interns to assist in getting the network's message out. Email us at contact@uimedianetwork.org to connect. You're watching and listening to the MultiDimensional MD Waking Up Medicine with me, your host, Dr. Arlene Dijamco, here to help empower you to supercharge your health, mind, body, and spirit. If you'd like to connect with me, you can follow me at All Worlds Health on Instagram and Facebook, and I would love to hear from you. We'll be right back with our incredible guest, Kate Parker, to talk about why her photography is able to carry such a strong messages and have a universal appeal. See you in a moment.
Hi, I'm Greta Full, President of Golden Home Services, a premier private home care service for seniors in Georgia for almost 2 decades now. We all have parents, and I know I love my parents more than anything else in this world. And because of that, Golden Home Services makes sure we care for your parents as if they were our parents. Call 678-242-0084 anytime, or visit goldenhomeservices.com to select from our range of affordable home care services.
Hi, welcome back to the MultiDimensional MD. This is Dr. Arlene Dijamco here with my guest, Kate Parker, photographer and author extraordinaire. And we're going to talk about why her images are able to carry these messages of hope, inspiration, and what that's all about. So, Kate, why do you feel like there's such a universal appeal to your images?
I mean, thank you very much. That's so nice to say. And I think the themes of childhood and it's honestly for me what I guess when I'm shooting is I'm trying to capture emotion. I'm trying to capture the moment of recognition, of joy, of laughter, of whatever that feeling is, of sadness. I'm trying to capture honesty, and I think maybe that is what comes through. I really am kind of an instinctual photographer. So I tend not to overthink things a lot. Like I'm just more like, oh my gosh, what did you just do? Hold on. Let me get that. You just move here and get that light a little bit better. And then just do that thing you just did. Let's do that one more time. That's kind of how I tend to operate. And thankfully, like the response has been great. And it's so funny because it's like, I can't always gauge what people will understand. Like I sometimes I'll post like this picture that I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this one. It's so great. And then it kind of like doesn't get that great a response on social media or things like that, which is, I find is like a great sort of barometer of like what people respond to is like, if there's a conversation going on around the image, which I love. And it's so funny because I think because I understand when I'm shooting the picture, what happened before, what happened after, what involved in the whole thing. But for people just consuming it, they only see that like fraction of a second. So,
which sometimes it can convey so much in that fraction of a second, though.
Yes.
I mean, I'm looking at this picture of Alice on Ella. And so it's like little Alice with these big eyes. And she's just straight mouth face, but the expression.
Yeah. I mean, my kids are thankfully emotional and expressive, so they are good subjects. But yeah, just trying to capture, like, it's not necessarily I'm setting up things or, I mean, for advertising jobs for sure, but in personal stuff I shoot, I'm not generally setting up stuff. I'm just sort of observing and keeping my camera with me as much as possible.
Well, I guess that's part of what you said, the honesty and the authenticity. If you're observing instead of setting them up to do something that's not necessarily spontaneous for them at that moment. So there's not certain elements you're looking for. It's just more of an intuitive reaction.
Yeah, I mean, with any parent knows there's just like constant activity, and it's just being aware of what, for me, it's like, what do I want to remember? Like, let me shoot that. What's funny or what's sweet or what's going to make me laugh. Those are the kind of things that I tend to try to capture.
And you've traveled all over to take photos. How do you decide like who to photograph or what what's going to be next?
So if I'm shooting a personal project, or like shooting a book, I try to like capture, I generally keep it in the United States. just because traveling all over the world, which I would love to do, Strong and New Pretty around the world someday. I think that would be so awesome and so cool. But for like my current projects, I tend to just travel in the United States, and and the idea is to try and I want everybody picking up kids picking up my book to find somebody they can relate to and somebody that inspires them. So I want the books to be as diverse as possible, and diverse economically, geographically, racially, like I want the diversity there as deep as I can get. So I generally travel for commercial jobs. So then I usually will like try to tack on days to, if I'm in LA or New York or Chicago, wherever I am, I try to like add days on because, I'm a mom and I don't want to be gone that long without, with my,
that's great. That's beautiful itself. Just creating your life around what you want it to look like. And I want to look at some of these images that you have here. So there's one of a dancer who's just looking straight on into the camera. Yeah.
That one she's so tough.
Which is really neat because like sometimes people think of, it looks like she has ballet shoes on there. And so sometimes people think of ballet as like delicate. But in this photo, you get a sense that you're like, no, ballet dancers are really strong.
Yeah. And it's funny because I don't know dance. I don't know anything about dance. Besides, I know that they are so hardcore. They're so tough and they're 100% athletes. Because everything they do is so hard, but they have to like do it with no expression on their faces too. They can't show they're working. So when I shot that, I asked her, I was like, can you show me your most, like, what is the hardest thing for you to do? What's the most athletic pose? And that's what she said. She's kind of like,
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. Cause I don't know about dance either. And I had no idea that was so difficult. I mean, it looks difficult. I know I wouldn't be able to do it, but to have the expression match, like how you are actually the grit that takes to master that and to do it elegantly. I'm just going to go through some photos here and just like have you comment on them. I have this picture of a rocker in Atlanta.
That's just I just love seeing girls like fully invested in things. Like, and that was one thing I really wanted to showcase in Strong and New Pretty, that it's not just athletics. You can find your passion, whatever it is, music, art, athletics, dance, whatever the thing is, just like fully invest yourself in it. So I wanted to certainly show that like diversity in interest.
And what I love is that in the expressions, in the photographs, it's a blend. It's not like there's one emotion only. It's like layers of it, and there's like a complexity to it. So, I mean, she's in the spotlight and she's on stage, but you can see that it took some courage to be out there.
Yeah, I shot that for Girls Rock, which is a camp here in Atlanta that girls can, like learn how to play an instrument and learn how to basically like how to be in a band, which is that's such a cool thing to get to learn.
And when you, I know you had said like when your kids see their photos, but how do they react when they see their photos? Because some of the photos, I mean, some are like wild and happy and fun, but some also have a seriousness to it. So how do they react when they see that?
When my kids see their like, to totally honest now, I have a 14-year-old that does not like me taking her picture. So I always feel I have to explain like to people, like if you look at my feed, it's mostly Alice who's younger, because Ella, not because I don't love Ella, it's because she just would prefer I don't shoot her that much. And so I just try to be as respectful as possible of what they are okay with. And I don't, I certainly don't want to overstep or show things that they wouldn't want to share. But I like certainly I would shoot them both equally. It's just trying to be respectful of all her friends are on social media and a lot of them follow me. So I totally understand where she's coming from.
That's great for you to honor that as a parent. I have 4 girls, so I get it. And they go through their different stages and learning and everything through the years. Okay, so I have this other one that I just called Hanging On. So it's like, I think it might be Alice hanging onto the edge of a ice skating rink.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's, yes. Yes.
And I just wanted to show that because, I mean, you're going to fall sometimes. And yeah, you captured that.
Yes. I just posted that one the other day, and I was just for like current mood. That's how I feel right now. I'm just hanging on.
Which I thought was a great for everybody to see, because it's not always about having to show what you might think of as perfection or success. It's also in the times where we fall, which can also be beautiful, because when I look at that, I'm like, oh, she's still doing it. She's hanging on.
Yeah. No, I think we all spend a few days just hanging by like the tips of our fingertips, like flailing around, especially nowadays in quarantine.
Exactly. To be able to like just keep getting up from that. So as a parent, like to you, what's the difference between being encouraging and pressuring?
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, it's a fine line. It's so hard. And I think it's just totally dependent on each, like your individual kids. But it's hard. Yeah. Now, I mean, I see it now when like, they're both of the girls still play soccer. They have workouts they're supposed to do every day, but they're old enough to know what they have to do. And they're old enough to understand the consequences of if they don't do that now. So it's like, it's just like reminding, but I'm not forcing,
right?
I'm like, did you do your workout? Do you need me to remind you? Do you need, kind of just like offering, do you need something, or are you just avoiding, like, it's just like this constant reminder to them of like, what's your goal? Do you want to not do this, or do you want to do this? Basically.
Yeah, well, that's a good, because you're asking them, so you're including them in the conversation. Yeah. And that's something that the psychologist, Janine Geno, when I talked to you last episode, we talked about a lot. It's just like including your kids in the conversation, because it is a difficult line. But if you talk to them, maybe you can find that balance.
Yes.
More
or
easily.
Like, why are you not doing this? Let's figure out, get to the bottom of it. Are you late? Are you being lazy, or is like, there's something else going on like that I'm unaware of?
That's a good question. Yeah. Is it just not feeling it, or is there something like we don't see?
Yeah. Because if it's lazy, there's no excuse. But if there's something else, if you need a break mentally because you're struggling, okay. Or if you feel like you need, you can't get motivated, that's normal. A lot of people are not feeling motivated these days. But, like, you just have to think about when you are done with this, do you want to be behind? It's just like kind of just like coming at it with a more long-term view than a short-term view, which kids tend to have, today I want to play, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, but when you come out of quarantine, you want to play on your soccer team,
We're all going to need a little refresher of like how to live when we come out of quarantine.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's going to be eye-opening. Like, I think the thing is, though, I think everyone will be so happy to be like, oh my gosh, I'm busy today. I have to go to meetings in 2 different places, and I have to go to dinner. Like, I think people are going to be like, that used to be like kind of a busy day.
Right,
but now they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, every single interaction, that's going to be a really great thing. It's just like every interaction. Oh, you have to capture that when we get out of quarantine. You got to capture the first meeting of being able to like be in the physical presence of another person that's not in your family.
No. Yes, that'll be a great day.
That'll be really neat. And I know that it's so hard because our kids are going through so much, and we're going through so much. So definitely we have this hanging on feeling. But we are going to be taking another really quick break, and we'll be right back after this brief sponsor break. So tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. EST for the Good Intentions Show, where you will meet people who live life intentionally and hear about things they will not tell you in mainstream media. I'm your host, Dr. Arlene Dijamco, and you're watching the MultiDimensional MD. When we get back, We're going to talk about the upside of downtime in Kate Parker's upcoming book, Play Like a Girl.
At Heiser Orthodontics, we understand that your smile is a big deal for both kids and adults. We have the latest technology and state-of-the-art equipment. But honestly, what makes us unique is our patient experience. And we are not the only people saying this.
Heiser Orthodontics is amazing.
Superb.
Trustworthy. Compassionate.
A friendly place where they know what they're doing, and that's what I like about it.
We are a family-owned private practice where kids are valued, parents have a voice, and the entire Heiser team puts the patient first. Discover the Heiser Orthodontics difference. Call 470-330-9083 for a free consultation today.
We're back on the Multidimensional MD. This is Dr. Arlene Dijamco with photographer and author Kate Parker. And we're going to talk about the upside of downtime. So, Kate, I've been following your Instagram, and I love that new hashtag that you're using. Then tell me what's been going on for you in this downtime.
Oh, it's been tough for, just for me, because a lot of my book was supposed to be published. I'm not complaining at all. We are home, we are healthy, we are in a great place. But I guess just in terms of mentally, for me, I had a bunch of jobs that were lined up, and it's so funny. You see them pop up in your calendar. It's
we
LA
have the same.
Yes.
I didn't delete them because I just wanted to see what was.
I know.
What would the parallel life that would have been going on.
To be oh, you're supposed to be playing a soccer game today, and then I'm supposed to be in LA, and then I'm supposed to, my book is supposed to come out, and but trying to take the positive. So it's we all have this downtime. I'm trying to find the positives within the downtime, and there are a lot. And I'm very, very, very thankful and very lucky that we're home. We're all together. They were doing things that we probably wouldn't have the time for. The kids are getting because they're so busy. They're so scheduled. And they're always running from activity to homework, to sleep, to getting up early. Mm-hmm. They have time to be a kid right now. This is the first time that Alice we live in a huge neighborhood. She's never ridden her bike around this neighborhood. Now she goes almost every day and rides her bike and explores and finds new things to do. And she's outside building a she shed right now.
I saw that.
So yes.
I was trying to imagine what that was actually. She's got a hammer and she's got some little plats or something.
Yes. And there was some tile. There was a tile container in our yard, and it's this sort of a square shape. And she asked the guys that were building something in the yard if she could take it. And now it has, my parents brought her some shingles. There's curtains on the house. They painted it.
Oh my gosh, this has become
yeah.
And you wouldn't have time to do this.
No. Wait. Yeah.
In addition to the shed.
Yes, there's an addition on the shed. There's a floor. I haven't seen it in a couple hours, so I'll have to go out and check to see what the progress has been made. But yeah, the time together. There's so many positives from it that I'm trying to I guess I do with everything else. I'm trying to just capture that.
And if everyone, can you tell everyone what your Instagram account is so that they can follow that?
Sure. It's just Kate T as in Travers, which is my middle name, KateTParker.com. Or sorry, just Kate T Parker. Yeah.
So if you can look at those images that we're talking about and see how this she shed is coming along.
I will post progress pictures.
But you've captured so much emotion of just, the boredom and frustration, but then the fun and the new projects and everything.
Yes.
And we're all moving at this snail pace right now, but still being somehow busy.
Yes. Yeah. It's just a weird experience that we are collectively all experience exactly this. Well, not exactly the same thing, but we're all collectively experiences we're away from everyone else. Mm-hmm. And but we're kind of going through it together. So it's like this bonding away that, I don't know. It's just super interesting in something that we've never gone through. And I really hope we don't all have to go through again. So trying to take advantage of for the first time in my career, I'm not traveling a couple times a month to go, across the country or to China or wherever I have been going. So I'm home, which I when I'm traveling a ton, I'm always like, oh, I wish I was home. Well, I got my wish.
Yes, wish came through.
Yes. So may as well, try to, and also for me, trying to show the girls, I want them to remember this as a positive time, not a stressful time, not where people are fighting or upset or angry, but looking back on it, I was like, oh my gosh, we actually had fun.
Yeah. And you've still been involved in projects during this downtime. I know you were telling me about children's healthcare and some things that you've been up to. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, sure. It was this. So the ad agency that works with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, which I've worked with a lot, and is honestly one of my favorite clients. My kids live in Atlanta. They go to the, as much as we try to avoid it, we definitely utilize children's health care a ton. They reached out and just said, hey, do you have any images of families at home together? And I was like, I have so much of this. And I sent them, I think I sent them 600 pictures. And they put together this, it's just this gorgeous television commercial of, and it says, welcome to the great indoors where family matters more than ever. Or I may be paraphrasing a little wrong. But it was just all these black and white pictures of families at home. And it was such a great reminder of this is so important. It's your family, which I was really excited to be a part of. Loved the message, loved the client. Had the images already.
It helped to get more PPE or for healthcare workers.
I donated the fees to Children's. I just declined to take a fee, and I just asked if they could use it for PPE for the healthcare workers. So it's nice to get to.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I love when I have the chances to do things like that. So chemistry was the ad agency, and they just did a really amazing job with the spot.
And you have your upcoming book. It's Play Like a Girl.
Yes.
Right? I'm not sure if you have a date for that yet.
August. We're planning on August. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And I have one photo, which may be from Strong's New Pretty, but it's a water break.
Oh, yes. So I wish I could have used that one in Play Like a Girl, but yes, so basically the book is, I grew up playing, I played in college. And it's basically using, my passion was soccer and the things that made me a really good soccer player on the field, which was I was loud and pushy and aggressive, were all things that don't really make it that easy for a little girl. And so but they really make it, I 100% believe that they helped propel my projects and my career forward. So I was so thankful I didn't lose those aspects of my personality. And I have truly believe that I have soccer to thank for that, because those things made me a great player. And so I'm such a proponent of girls finding their sport or their passion and sticking with it. And the lessons that, you can learn through sport, that each of the chapters of the book is sort of one lesson that I learned, or that you can learn from sport. And it shows girls from 3 years old through 60, women 63 years old who still play.
What's the difference to you, between boys sports and girls sports?
That's a hard one, because I think for girls, and I don't know if because I haven't done a project in depth on boys sports, but for girls, every girl I ask this question, what's your favorite part of soccer? Without a doubt, it was team. It's the team. It's the team. It's the team. And so I'm not sure of the answer, boys, But I found that to be like, it's so like your soccer team or your teammates they're like, it's a deeper friendship because you suffer together, you bleed together, you go through pain together, you go through wins and highs and losses. And I just think that that friendship is forged of something like so real that those girls are always going to have your back.
And it's just like sharing and connecting, all together. Just you're an individual, but you're also doing it for the team.
Yeah, such good lessons.
And so that's really neat. I have another picture here. It's of an athlete in a wheelchair, and I just liked how you brought in just all different kinds of sports and what it means to play. And do you have any background or story with that photo?
It's a girl in a wheelchair playing. Is she playing basketball?
Yes, playing basketball.
Okay. Yes. So that was that one is through Blaze Sports, which is an organization. So when I shoot, I tend to reach out to organizations that have these amazing stories of this girl who I believe that girl lost her, was not born that way. She had lost her leg after she was already an athlete. And so just that determination to get back out there and to continue to play in a league and to play with her peers was amazing to me. I just so much courage and so much strength and so much perseverance that anybody can learn from these kids that despite so many setbacks still want to get out there and be part of a team.
This is, I mean, all of your photos are just really inspirational. And as I was flipping through your books and getting ready for this show, I just was like, oh my gosh, filled with so much emotion from all the photographs. And for me as an adult, I was like, yeah, this is great. Whatever I do, I can do it. I'm looking at kids' pictures, but I'm like, yeah, I can do it too.
Oh my gosh, that's the best compliment ever. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, it just sort of makes your eyes water because you're like, wow, these are very powerful. And thank you so much for being here with us today. We're about to wrap up soon. Is there anything else that you'd like to say?
No, just thank you. And I just hope everybody is doing well and staying healthy and staying sane.
And if anyone wants to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
My website is the best. It's katetparker.com, and the most updated things are on my Instagram, which is just KT Parker.
So we had an amazing episode. Thank you so much, Kate. Our girls used to play soccer a few years ago. I just can't believe it. It's like they're all so much older now. But I really appreciate you being here on the show today because your message is really powerful and much needed. And the world needs so much hope right now. And if you haven't taken a look at these books, you know where to find them. They're on Amazon. Or you can also get them from a local bookstore. Yeah. So you're doing a project to support local
independent
bookstores.
Yeah.
On my Instagram, even better.
All of the proceeds from Strong is New Pretty will go to help independent bookstores stay alive during this.
Yes,
really
so please, if you
time.
don't have that, get that today. Thank you so much, Kate, for being here with us. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you right afterwards. But thank you all for visiting. This is Dr. Arlene Dijamco, the MultiDimensional MD. And Kate, you have a heart of gold. She's been so generous with sharing her talents. Really appreciate you for being here on my show. Don't forget to join me next time on the MultiDimensional MD on Wednesday, May 13th at 4 p.m. EST for the secrets of a New York City osteopath. My next guest, the amazing Dr. Lilia Goriadinsky. Thank you to everyone that's here, whether you're watching on uimediaapp.com, Facebook, or listening on the radio. Lots of love to all of you. This is Dr. Arlene Dijamco, the MultiDimensional MD, Waking Up Medicine.
Wow, what a show! I feel great already. Don't you all look at health in a whole new light now? If you do, please don't forget to like, comment, and share the show. And you can also watch all of Dr. Arlene's shows on uimediaapp.com. Catch her live every other Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern on WDJY 99.1 FM in Atlanta Facebook Live, Spreaker, and almost all the podcasting platforms at UI Media Network. You can also write to her at contact@uimedianetwork.org with your questions, concerns, and comments. Like Hippocrates says, everyone has a doctor in him or her. We just have to help it in its work, and Dr. Arlene is here to do just that. The United Intentions Foundation and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.